Most lifters make one of these two mistakes. They either just go through the motions and never push hard enough in their workouts, or they do the complete opposite and go to failure every single set and then wonder why they're always sore, burned out, and not making progress. That's why I use reps in reserve in my training as well as my clients. And in this video, I'm going to break it down so you can use it in your next training session. So, what is reps in reserve? Reps in reserve, or RIR, is just a way to measure intensity, or in other words, how hard you're working in each set. It's basically asking yourself, if I absolutely had to, how many more reps could I do a good form? And you're asking yourself this after each set. So if you do a set of 10, by the time you're done, you should be asking yourself, if I had to continue beyond 10, how many more could I have done with good form until I hit failure? And whatever number that is, that's your reps in reserve. So if I say my reps in reserve or my RIR is 2, that means I could have done 2 more reps if I were to keep going. If I say my reps in reserve is 0, that means I went all the way to failure. I could not have done another rep. So here's a video of me going failure. The bar is starting to slow down. I'm starting to make ugly faces. It's getting hard to push that bar above my head. I grounded out that one. I'm gonna try the next one. I got that one. Boom, failure. I could not get it up. That's RR 0. You may be wondering why this even matters. Like, what's the point of reps in reserve? And it's important and it matters because training isn't just about maxing out every time you go to the gym or going to failure every time you train. It's really about sending the appropriate signals to your body so that you can build muscle and get stronger in a way that's sustainable and allows you to stay consistent. Because think about how you would feel if you knew you had to go to the gym and train to failure for every single exercise, every set. You probably wouldn't be as consistent as you are now, just because that is very mentally draining. Also, it's very hard on your body. You are going to burn out. It can lead to injuries, and it could be the reason why you're in a plateau because you're not giving your body a chance to truly recover. So reps in reserve allows you to find that sweet spot of training and still stay consistent because part of training is enjoying it as well. We don't want to go in the gym and hate it and dread it. Another good thing about reps in reserve is it allows you to account for daily changes in our performance and how we feel. So as we all know, how we feel on a day-to-day basis is going to change based on different factors. How much sleep we get, how we've been eating, our stress levels. If you're recovering between sessions, you're going to feel a little better than if you're not recovering between sessions. Some days you're going to feel good, other days you may not feel as good or as strong. Each session is going to be different. Sometimes you may go in the gym and feel like you can lift anything. You can lift the heaviest you've ever lifted that day, right? Other days you may want to completely skip your workout because you don't feel as strong. So reps in reserve allows you to adjust to these changes that are inevitable and still train at the right intensity. For example, you might be able to squat one day with 150 pounds for 4 sets of 8. And on those 4 sets of 8, your RIR is 3. You feel like you could have did 3 more reps on each set, right? But then Friday comes around and you've had a long, stressful week of work, you're sleep deprived, and now you might only be able to do 140 pounds for 4 sets of 8 at reps in reserve 3. Does that mean you got weaker? No. It just means that you had less in the tank that day for whatever reason. Likely it's your sleep, likely it's your stress level. But if you're still hitting the appropriate reps in reserve that's programmed in your training session, you're still going to make progress over time. That's why reps in reserve keeps you in that sweet spot. It's enough for you to see results, but it's also not too much to the point where you can't recover and get gains from it. Here's how this concept of reps in reserve shows up inside my programming. Let's say I program bench press 3 sets of 8 to 12 at RIR2. All that means is choose a weight where you can hit anywhere from 8 to 12 reps and still have 2 reps left in the tank. So by the time you get to 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, you want to feel like if you were to continue, you can only do 2 more reps. This is also a good way to see if you're self-selecting weights appropriately, or as a coach, if your client is selecting the correct weight. So I've had clients that they'll see 8 to 12 reps and then they'll end up doing 20 reps, and they say that that's when they reach the reps in reserve of 2. This typically happens with beginners or people who haven't really trained the right way, even though they may have been working out for a couple of years. So if you can do 20 reps and that's when you hit RIR2, then obviously the weight is too light, because you need to select a weight that allows you to hit that correct rep range of 8 to 12, whatever your program calls for. 8 to 12 is just an example, but allows you to hit the desired rep range as well as the rep in reserve. So if you're not sure if you're using a weight that's appropriate for you, this is also a good way. So now let's say I program goblet squats. The first two sets, you're going to do 8 to 12 reps at reps in reserve 1. And then on the third set, you're going to go to reps in reserve 0. So that means on the first 2 sets, you're going to aim for 8 to 12 reps, and you want to stop when you only have 1 rep left in the tank. And then on that last set, you're going to go all the way to failure. So as you can see, this is a really good way to do 2 things. Good way to measure your intensity, but also make sure that you are selecting the right weights. A lot of times people are in the gym and they're using weight that is not challenging enough for them. So reps in reserve exposes that problem, but it also makes sure you're on track with the intensity you need to be training with in order to reach your goals. If you're training for strength versus muscle building, it's going to be a little different in the reps in reserve that you use. But for the purposes of training for both muscle building and getting stronger, reps in reserve is a perfect concept. You want to train within 1 to 3 reps shy of failure, and you will see really good gains. Now, reps in reserve is important, but it's also just one small piece of the puzzle. So if you want to know how to build a full workout plan that uses reps in reserve and matches your goals, grab my free workout creator guide with the link in the description. It's going to walk you through how to do all of this step by step. And if this video was helpful, be sure to share it with a friend, and also hit subscribe, because I'm going to be teaching you how to really optimize your training and make sure every set counts. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.